Hi guys, this is Aditya from LightHaven. I got a question about free flowing or Anyo or Karenza, whatever it is that you would like to call it. Um, there is a video by a man called Daniel Bernas, and it's a video on this very topic. I'm going to link that video down below. It's a video I really like, especially if you're just starting out on this process of trying to express yourself creatively with the weapon involved. I think it's a great video, so I would really recommend you having a look at that video. I'm going to link that video down below. The question I got though was specifically about moving with intention. So almost like we would shadow box in Muay Thai or boxing or kickboxing, where you're imagining someone is attacking you and you're working against an imaginary opponent. So I'm going to try and add my 2 cents into that process. And for the sake of today's video, I'm going to use a knife and not a stick, simply because I feel that a knife is an easier tool to begin this process with. So I'm going to keep two things constant. The first is going to be I'm going to keep my hands moving throughout the entire process, and the second is I'm going to keep my feet moving in some way throughout the entire process. I never want to stop my hands moving or my feet moving. Even when I'm not fighting someone, I'm still keeping my hands and my feet moving. I'm going to keep that constant throughout the entire process. Now, the way that I started doing this a couple of years ago was I started by imagining a really simple basic attack coming towards me. So for the sake of today, I'm going to imagine like my opponent is coming at me with a low thrust, straight low thrust to my midsection. As that thrust comes in, I'm going to step out, parry it, grab that elbow and slash up. So I'm imagining that thrust coming down, I'm parrying, tapping the elbow, stepping out at the same time and slashing at his face. One more time, parry, grab the elbow, slash at his face. I'm going to do this at least 10 times, right? So I'm moving around, that thrust comes back, slash, moving around. Cool thing about this drill is that, or about this way of doing it, is that you get to simulate both opponents. So the first guy started with just a thrust to his stomach. Now as he thrusted, that knife came across, parried his hand out, and a cut came to his face. So now I'm going to thrust low, my hand's going to get swept out, and then a slash is going to come to my face. So I'm going to sway back. Now from here, my hand is already loaded for that angle 2. So I'm going to come back with that angle 2 slash. So it looks like thrust, sway back, slash. Now moving about. Same thing, I'm going to do this 10 times. Moving around, thrust, slash. Thrust, sway back, slash. Thrust, sway back, slash. Thrust, sway back, slash. Thrust, sway back, slash. And I'm going to do that 10 times. I'm going to go back to the first person again. The thrust came down, I parried, I tapped the elbow, I slashed to the face. My opponent swayed back and is coming back at me with an angle 2 from here. I'm going to bisect that line, push that hand down and stab with an angle 1. So one more time, the thrust is coming, I step out, tap that elbow, slash. Angle 2 is coming, push that down, thrust with an angle 1. Now I'm going to go back to the initial attacker. He went with the thrust, swayed back, slash. That hand got tapped down, and now there's an angle 1 slash coming here. So now I have 2 options from here. That's the great thing, that you have so many options at every step. I can either step out, parry, thrust to the body, or I can step out, parry, cut that hand. So the whole thing is going to look like I thrust, I wave back, I slash, I step out parry and cut. I thrust, wave back, slash, parry and cut the hand. Go on and on and on and on and on with this process. The way that I like to do it, I like to work up to 10 different moves, 5 and 5, or if you want to be really adventurous, you can go 10 and 10 for each attacker. And then I would make sure that I do 10 reps of every individual move and then move on to the next one, and then I would just stack and stack and stack. So let's say the first move was just the first thing I did was just that parry, tap the elbow, slash. I would do this 10 times. Parry, tap the elbow, slash. Parry, tap the elbow, slash. On the side of the other person, I would do thrust, lean back, slash. I do that 10 times. Thrust, lean back, slash. Next when I went back to the first counter attacker, I would then stack the next thing onto that and then do that 10 times. So we're gonna go parry, tap the elbow, slash, tap down and do that 10 times, or tap down and angle 1, do that 10 times. So parry, tap the elbow, slash, bisect that line, thrust. Parry, tap the elbow, slash, bisect that line, tap that elbow down, thrust. I would do that 10 times. Then I'd go back to the first attacker, stack something on top of what he's doing, and come back here, stack, 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 and do each of these whole things 10 times. Very often I see people they'll do something, and then they'll just freeze, and then they'll think of the next thing, and then they'll do that, and then they'll just freeze. No, whether you're doing it my way over here, or whether you're doing it just some sort of free-flowing way, you need to keep moving. One of the most important things about the Filipino martial arts or the weapon-based martial arts is your need for constant movement. If I'm stationary, I'm a stationary target. My hand is a target, my legs are a target, my body and my head is a target. I need to constantly be moving, and that's something that I need to constantly work at. Very often you see people, especially in sparring and in this free flow sort of situation, where they'll do something and then they'll just stop. And then they'll do something else and then they'll just stop. You need to keep moving. So even if it's just moving your hands this way, moving your feet, moving your hands this way, moving your feet around, and then doing whatever it is that you're looking to do, that is also something. Just don't freeze over there. Now, I heard martial arts once described, I don't know who originally said it, but I heard it on the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was described as martial arts is problem solving with high consequences. And I really agree with that. And for me, one of the key components of problem solving is imagination and creativity. Right? The more creative solutions you can find to a problem, the more options you will have. And one of the things that your Karenza or your Anyo or your free flow really give to you is an expression of how you want to express the art, and B, it really fuels your imagination. It forces you to consider different lines of attack, imagine different lines of attack, and puts you into uncomfortable positions, which is why people feel lost very often when they start. They're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just moving my hands and my feet. That's a perfectly natural process, and it's going to take you a while to get comfortable with just being able to move. I do have to say that I do believe there is a lot of value in also just being able to move without intention, just moving for the sake of expression. I think that there is a lot of inherent value in that. Even if you look at it from a purely martial standpoint, that's how you're going to get comfortable with moving from one position to the next position, from one attack to the next attack, fluidly without having to stop and get lost. Right? Apart from that, I do believe that martial arts needs to sort of have an artistic side to it. It needs to be an expression of you, and this is one place where that expression really comes out. The other part is that in order to be able to flow like this, you have to have a decent amount of experience and a decent amount of partner work under your belt. If you cannot even imagine what a straight thrust would look like, if you aren't familiar with that line of attack, there's no way you're going to be able to bisect or parry that line properly. If you can't imagine your opponent's body in front of you, oftentimes either your footwork will be off or something or the other will be off. So it really helps to have a lot of experience in partner work, have a lot of experience, have a lot of familiarity with these lines of attack, so that now if I'm imagining that angle 1, I know where that angle 1 is going to come, and I know how to pick that up. I know all the options that I have. I know what I need to do with my live hand. I know what I need to do with my weapon hand. I know what I need to do with my footwork. Having said all of that, I started this work when I was relatively inexperienced. And even being relatively inexperienced, doing this work once a week did have a lot of benefit for me. So I would suggest just trying it out. It's not going to be that easy, but just try it out, see what happens. Keep the things as simple as possible, keep the stacks as small as possible, and have fun with it. As usual guys, thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like, subscribe and share this video. It does help out the school and the channel a lot. And see you guys in the next video.